How can I raise my Kundalini? This is a very common question that I receive. How can I raise my Kundalini? Let's explore this. Let me give you a different perspective. This Kundalini energy, this Shakti energy, sometimes people call it, it's the power of all creation. It's the animating power that animates what you call as life. It's what's shining the sun, moving the clouds, blowing the wind, growing the grass, making it rain. So this question of how can I raise this Kundalini? It's always coming from this perspective of the mind trying to control something. How can I manipulate it? How can I control it? What do I have to do to it? And the mind is always trying to possess things. It's my Kundalini. How can I move this Kundalini? Well, that which you think you are is actually moved by this Kundalini. It's what's moving you. You can't move it. It's free. It can't be controlled. It's wild. It cannot be tamed. It's natural. It cannot be conditioned. But you see, our perspective of how can I raise my Kundalini or how can I move it up through the system, it's always coming from this perspective of trying to control and manipulate the power of creation. So this energy, it's natural. It's wild. It's free. Any form of control, to try and control it, would just be a suppressing of it. It would be suppressing this energy because this energy naturally expresses itself. It's just finding greater and greater expression. So it's very much wild. It's like asking, how can I raise a wild animal? You can't really raise a wild animal. The moment you raise a wild animal, it's no longer wild. You've domesticated that which is wild. Anything that you domesticate, you have conditioned. The wild animal then becomes a conditioned animal. It's no longer natural, it's conditioned, it's normalized. So this Kundalini just naturally wants to express itself. But in a way, it's being suppressed. That which is natural is not normal. Society has these societal norms. These norms are conditioning. So when we want to fit into society, we then normalize ourselves, conform. That's what normalizing is. It's a conformity. But this Kundalini, it naturally expresses itself. And any expression is a unique expression. So you see the problem with trying to fit in and be like everyone else. In efforts of fitting in to society and being like everybody else, you are then suppressing yourself. You're suppressing your unique expression. This unique expression is your individuality. Now, your highest expression is expressing your true nature. That your true nature expresses itself as individuality. And if you look around, that's how the rest of creation is. Everything is a unique expression. Literally, everything is unique. And that which is unique is one of a kind. It cannot be compared to. This creation has no duplicates. So you see, when we want to fit in and copy others, be like somebody else, we're trying to create a duplicate. To be like somebody else means that you are afraid of being yourself. What will others think? This is fear. Fear of being oneself. So this Kundalini energy naturally expresses itself. You're just allowing yourself to be as you are. And in doing so, you are an authentic expression of your true nature. Trying to be like somebody else is inauthentic. You have to pretend to be like somebody else, but you don't have to pretend to be yourself. You are yourself. You can't pretend. It's the same way when people say, well, just act natural. You can't act natural. You can only be natural. And being natural is being yourself. So you see that actually trying to fit into society, trying to be like everybody else, is actually suppressing your true nature, it creates this battle, this fight, that you're fighting your very nature. So it's like a suppression, and to suppress is to push down. So it's very ironic. The question is, well, how can I raise my Kundalini? What I'm saying is this Kundalini naturally rises on its own. The same way a rose naturally arises and expresses itself more and more and more to its fullest expression. This rose opens up, flowers, blooms, a fragrance is released. It's radiating beauty. It's an expression of its true nature, and this true nature is expressing itself as the individuality that we call a rose. If it wasn't for expressing this individuality, there would be no distinction between a rose and a lily, or a rose and a sunflower, or a rose or a daisy. See, you can only distinguish the differences between these unique expressions of the one because of its individuality. The rose is not trying to be like a daisy. But you see, this is what's going on. We want to be like somebody else. We want to fit in, be the same. But you can't be the same because you are unique. And that which is unique cannot be compared to. When we say something is the same as another thing, it's because we see that there are two. We see that this is the same as that because we compare. But that which is unique cannot be compared to. It's one of a kind. On the level of the absolute, there's just the one. And the one is expressing itself as the multiplicity and diversity that you see, that we call life. Now, the only reason why there is the multiplicity and diversity is because of that expression of individuality. And that's what's so beautiful. So we can't suppress it. We can't deny it. We can't reject it. But oneness is not sameness. This multiplicity and diversity is experienced because everything is unique. So it's incomparable. So we can't even say that things are the same because that's comparing it. So the moment you try and compare yourself to something else or somebody else, you see it's just not possible. It's just as silly as comparing a rose to a daisy. They can't be compared. They're completely different. But at the same time, They are one. So it's this paradox. Different expressions of the one. Trying to be the same as something is really a suppression of that unique individuality that wants to be expressed. And that's that, what you would call the rising of Kundalini. It's this rising of self-expression. But any form of control or manipulation is actually a suppression of it. It's free. You can't control it. It doesn't need your help. It's naturally intelligent. The weather doesn't need your help for it to rain. The sun doesn't need your help for it to shine. The grass doesn't need your help to grow. So it's actually counterintuitive. That without trying to raise it, it rises naturally. Effortlessly. Because expression is effortless. It takes effort to suppress oneself. To be yourself is effortless, is it not? To be yourself is the most natural. It's unnatural to be like somebody else. It takes effort to try and be like somebody else. But to be yourself is effortless. And the most natural. So instead of asking, how can I rise? How can I raise this Kundalini? A better question is, what am I suppressing? What am I pushing down? The question is asking, how can I raise? But what if the question is, well, how am I pushing it down? In what way am I not being an authentic expression of myself? And you will see that this creative power will naturally express itself more and more. When that cliche line is, get out of your own way. And it's no different than what we see as an external reflection of this. That within we're fighting our nature, without we're fighting nature. And this is what's going on. It doesn't need to be controlled. It's actually by surrendering to this creative power within yourself, by listening to it. It really starts with listening to it. You can't tell it what to do. Raise. Go faster. You can't tell it. It's running the show, not you. But the more you're able to simply listen, and just simply allow, then you're not ignoring it, and you're not resisting it. I'm ignoring myself, and I'm listening to the crowd. I'm suppressing that which is natural in efforts to be normal. I just want to fit into the crowd. I just want to be like them. You see this Kundalini energy, or whatever you want to call it, this Shakti, this creative power, many names for it. It's like a rebel. It can't fit in. It doesn't want to be conformed. To conform is to mold something. It can't. It can't be tamed. So I said, it's wild. It can't be controlled. It's free. And the more you try and tame this, suppress this, control this, the more you experience what people call these Kundalini symptoms. These symptoms are very much like battle wounds from fighting your nature. But the more you listen to it, the more you just simply go with the flow. You're no longer resisting the flow. This flow is this energy that's moving everything. Then you just simply allow it to express. And in that expression that is natural and effortless, there's no resistance. There's no suppression. There's no you against it. There's just simply what is. What is the expression of life. Look around. That's what you see. You see life expressing itself. Why would you be any different? So in a way, this video is not that you need it, but a reminder. But it's permission to be yourself. to accept yourself completely. You are one of a kind. So stop trying to fit in. Stop comparing yourself. Stop trying to be like somebody else. Just simply be yourself. And in being yourself, you'll naturally express yourself authentically. And this authentic expression is your individuality. And the highest expression is effortless. There's just expressing what you are. And then you realize that there's no you and it. That it is you. This authentic expression is what you are. You're experiencing this aliveness. This aliveness is the life that you are, that is expressing itself. Effortlessly, naturally. Hopefully this helps. See you in the next one.